Hi. Got cut off. I don't know why. Some problem with the camera. But anyway, we're back. And we are going to continue with our live stream. I hope we haven't lost too many of you in the process. But we're the never say die people. Okay. So we're going to talk about the soul or the ego, which will win, and it's part 3 of 3. And sweet baby James is about to introduce our show.
Yeah, welcome to Granny Rocks Our World. We just got our world rocked, and
Again,
Granny's going to share with us this fascinating topic with her wit, her wisdom, and her uncommon sense, which we can count on every week. It's always a surprise. And we air every Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. So stay with us. And now over to Granny.
Okay, so Elizabeth said, there you are. Glad you made it. I don't know if you saw us before, but we were on. She says hello. We were on at exactly 6:30, and then we got cut off. And we had to move the camera and to another. Anyway, we're here. So thank God, right? So let me see. It's always something, but when you're dealing with the ego, expect trouble.
Yeah,
that's what
resistance comes up.
And down and all around. Okay, so this is the third of a 3-part series. And so I'm going to have to do a little bit of reviewing as I go along for those of you who've just come on, but we're going to do our best. Okay. So first of all, I want to say that the ego is the fortress that we have built to defend ourselves, but it becomes our prison. And that is the point. Now, I talked about how the ego came into being and how much it was connected with our survival instinct. It's like we're trying to figure out how to survive in the world, who to manipulate, how to do it, And so we develop these coping mechanisms. Some of us become very manipulative. Some of us get very forceful and demanding. Some of us are sweet. Some of us act smart. We do all kinds of things to get our needs met. And Todd said, hi, Todd. So, and I have a lot about the subject of how the ego gets formed in our infancy in my book, Living with Reality, which is a free download on my website, Beth Green, that's BETHGREEN.org. You can download that book for free. I talk a lot about how the ego came into being. But I also talked about how these behaviors, these coping mechanisms, they get reinforced. Like, and Helen said, Helen and Richard are here. Hi, Helen and Richard. And Aria says, hi, Beth and James. And hi, Aria. Oh, it's so good to see you all. So, our egos get reinforced or altered as we continue to develop in our lives. Let's say we developed a coping mechanism to make mommy feel guilty, so she would take care of us instead of her, and she keeps giving into that, year after year after year, and then we start getting that way, with people. We start expecting them to accede to our wishes, and they go with it. And guess what? That ego gets reinforced over and over. And Zuma says, sweet good morning, dear. And sweet good morning to you, Zuma. So I'm probably not pronouncing your name right, but I'm trying. So our ego gets reinforced. Our egos get reinforced by our society. Let's say we're a girl and our society's, this is the way it used to be, I'm not saying it is now, wanted us to be sweet or, I remember when I was in school, we had home education, I was learning how to cook, and so it was ridiculous. It just wasn't me, right? But that was what we were expected to do. And so I kept trying to find my way as people wanted me to be. And we do the same thing with our friends. If we're hanging out with some tough hombres, even if we're women, and that's the way we're going to be accepted, well, we're going to reinforce that part of ourselves. So all these coping mechanisms that we create become a personality or a persona, and somewhere deep inside is the true self. It's like, hello, where are you? And in fact, and this is the worst part of this thing, many of us don't even remember that there is any other us than that. For instance, if I am being rewarded for being smart, that's all I'm going to focus on is being smart, right? Because that's what's getting me all the rewards. And then the society will give me rewards for being smart too, because I'll get the scholarship to the good school, and then I'm promised the good job and all of that. Okay. So very fast. But the ego, it takes on this life of its own. It's a fortress. We built it to defend ourselves, but there it is. And it has to continue to justify its existence. And it's busy, busy, busy. And every time we try to break out, it is going to create some kind of fear. No, you can't. No, you shouldn't. Nobody's going to like it. And something, a lot of times they aren't going to like it. If you're living in a society where women are supposed to be sweet, and you have a relationship with somebody who expects the woman to be sweet, and the whole society wants you to be sweet, it takes a movement. It takes a movement to break through that. Or you're supposed to be heterosexual, or you're supposed to be caring about money before everything else, or you're supposed to be an accountant instead of a musician, or all of those things. So these coping mechanisms take over, and we can't even remember who we are if we ever did know. Now, I've talked a lot about the relationship between our egos and our souls in the last 2 shows, and go back and watch them. They were really good. But I want to talk about why we may give in and give up and let the ego run us for the rest of the millennium. First of all, people want us to do what they think we should. Well, don't you want people to do what you think they should? I do. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Amy says, "Hi, Beth and James. Sorry I didn't see your show at the beginning, but now I can see you. Yay. Thank you for this great topic." You're welcome. So people want us to do what they think we should. Oh, you should go get a job. You should have babies. You should have this. You should do that. You should be quiet, or you should be loud, or you should be aggressive. Some people think us, oh, you're part of the now generation. You're supposed to be aggressive. Maybe I'm not aggressive. Maybe I don't want to be aggressive. Leave me alone. Anyway, so it's very difficult for us to become ourselves because there's so many forces that are trying to stop the process. People think they know what we need based on who they think we are. It's like, oh, I know what you need. You need a good slap in the face. You need to get sober. You need to do this. You need to do that now. Maybe you do. But
you need to be more like your father or your mother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or you need to be the apple of their eye. You may need to make us proud, or you need to be a warrior. And you should go into the army, or you should be a Republican or a Democrat. Tracy says, hello, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
So they only think they know who we are. And based on that, they think they know what we need. But supposing they have never seen, let's say, oh, you need to be in an advanced whatever class so that you can do special mathematics and go to Harvard. Well, maybe you really want to be a carpenter, and so you don't need that at all. But even being well-being, well-meaning, they're going to tell you what you need because they don't see you. Other people and our society needs us to fulfill certain roles. For example, I've given this example before. Grandparents have to take care of the grandchildren when the kids are sick or in rehab or what all that. And you're supposed to do this. And so any good grandparent is going to want to do this, right? Or kids are supposed to take care of their parents. That is the noble thing to do. That is the right thing to do. Even if it isn't the right thing for you or your parents. But these roles have to be taken care of because our society doesn't take care of people. So we've got to assume these roles that society doesn't want to, even if there's no match. Even if there was somebody next door who would be much better at taking care of my parents. Our inner souls are often hidden even from ourselves. And it's hard to know how to care for the parts of ourselves that we cannot see. So that's another thing that tries to stop the process. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I need. I don't know that what I really need to do is take a year off from school and go scuba diving. Or I need to take a year off from scuba diving and go to school. If I can't see myself on the inside, I may not even begin to be able to nurture myself. So last time I talked a lot about the many ways that the ego tries to block us from freeing ourselves. And now I've talked a little bit about why it's so difficult, but I want to talk about the giving up thing. Our inner selves have lacked nurturance and encouragement in the past, and they are insecure. Because you say, well, why is my inner self not fighting the ego? Come on, let's make this, a fair fight. Well, it's not a fair fight if our inner self, think about this. Let's say your ego has been fattened up by your experience that tells you, yeah, I'm going to win if I act tough, or I'm going to win if I act sweet, or I'm going to win if I'm smart, or so it's like that ego that has created this personality, this persona. It's like fattened it up, right? So it's strong, it's been working out at the gym every day, but that part of us that's the inner self is weak, is skinny, is undernourished. It's just come out of, it's like comparing the strength of the mighty oak tree with the little shoot that's just come out of the, you know what I mean? This guy is 300 pounds and you're 3 ounces, right? So our inner selves have lacked nurturance and encouragement in the past, and therefore they are insecure. Secondly, nobody knows who we are, and so they don't even know how to support us. Oh, if I had only known that what you wanted to do is be a glass blower, I would never have suggested that you go off into nursing, right? So it's possible that people would nurture our inner selves if they even knew what it was, but they don't. Another reason we may give in and give up is we've been battling for years and we're exhausted. I am Beth. I am exhausted from trying to call out the ego, which doesn't want to be called out. And you know what the problem is? See, if we've created these fortresses as our coping mechanism, we, the inner being, is scared to death if we start dismantling that ego. It's like, well, who's going to protect me? Who's going to take care of me? How am I going to, who? Right? So that's been going on for years too. So the inside we may be collaborating with the ego to destroy our inner selves, guys. In fact, the ego keeps telling us that it is us. I really am this way. I really don't like to be touched. I really like to live alone. I really like to be in charge. I love stress. Stress is my middle name. I eat it up and I spit it out, like nails, right? So we don't even know. See, the ego has been telling us that it is us. We are so new, we're insecure. We have been asking the ego to protect us, and we're afraid to let that protection go. Or we may have been engaged in the battle, and we're just tired. We may not actually have the support that we need to go on. It's like that big club that's clubbing us, and we're just trying to shoot through, and oh God, the goats or the deer, they've eaten us again. And not that I have anything against goats or deer, but you understand what I'm saying. We keep trying, but we may not have the strength, and we may not have enough support, and nobody really knows who we are. And the ego keeps telling us that it is us. Another possibility is we have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and and we can't make it. We've lost hope. Oh my God, how many people have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and lost hope? You know, maybe we do need to kind of change the way we're doing something, but losing hope and giving up is not the same. So, is it okay to stop the battle? Is it okay to just say, okay, you win, ego? I'm 74 years old. I'm tired. I'm sick. I've had it. Leave me alone. I don't want to do grow anymore. I have nothing to say about the ego. I'm going to start knitting. Oh no, I can't start knitting. I have arthritis in my fingers. I can't knit anyway. But that's beside the point. Okay, is it okay? Well, in a way, it is okay. If you are just worn out from the battle of trying to express yourself and you really want to give up, you can. You know, evolution is collective, it's not individual. If you give up, someone else may pick it up. You know, younger people will be picking up the torch to fight for doing something about the environment. Maybe you've been to too many demonstrations in Moscow and you've been spent too many years in prison and you just can't face it anymore. And somebody else who's younger or healthier may pick up the torch. Don't kill yourself, guy. You know, because see, sometimes the ego takes the form of a force outside of ourselves. But anyway, that's what it's like when you're battling the ego. It's kind of like the Russian police coming after you, or the American police, or any police. It's like, ugh, beating you up, always beating you to a pulp. Okay, so maybe others will take on the battle for the self, the true self. We've seen it. We've seen gay people, movements of gay people, of women, of trans people, of people of color, of poor people, of union of workers, and so on, who have, you know, other people have taken on the battle when you get old and, you know, you're sick. And Donna said, good evening, folks. Good evening, Donna. So good to see you. So it's okay if you really do. But on the other hand, the battle itself cannot end. If the human species were no longer on the earth, believe me, the battle between the soul and the ego would continue. See, I mean, look at dogs, right? You look at a dog that has been raised with no love, that's been beaten, that's been chained in a parking lot, that's been trained to be aggressive, that's been sent out in fights. And what are you going to see? You're going to see the ego of that dog. Roar, there's the ego fighting, fighting, fighting. But maybe that ego is hiding a soft, sweet dog that just wants to relax and be loved and be petted. See, what I'm saying, it's not just human beings. It's the world we live in. If any species is out of balance with the whole, that's the survival of the whole is threatened. If the koala bear or the panda are eating everything in the environment, they will die because it's out of balance. And the same thing is going to happen to humanity. We are too far reaching. Our egos tell us that we should go out and fight for every resource that exists on the planet, and it will kill us. But that battle, to be in balance, to be in harmony, will continue forever, even if we're not here. So that's a whole other long story I don't want to get into because we're running out of time. But I'm asking you a question. In the battle between the ego and the soul, which is winning? In the beginning, for you, in the first show, I talked about, can they come together, the ego and the soul? And that would be the real win. The real win. The only way the soul can win is if all parts of us come together, because all of it is us. So as we come to understand that the ego is just a construct, that it's created by our survival instincts, that it's one coping mechanism after another, we can't actually kill it, because that's like saying I will kill my survival instinct. But what I can do is educate it and transcend the narrow vision of what survival really is. And when all the parts of ourselves come together and we become whole, and all the parts of everything come together and become whole, then the soul and the ego are both winning, because the battle is over and we win, we on the inside. If you personally are worn out and need permission to retire, go ahead and do it. Nobody's going to say, oh, you've got to be this way. You know, you've been fighting all your life. You have to fight to the death. Do what you need to do. But remember, you are not alone. There are many people who understand what I'm saying tonight. Even if they don't put it in exactly the same terms, they have a sense that what I'm saying rings true, that the deepest part of ourselves needs to come out and be united with all the parts of ourselves, that our survival needs to be guided by the highest good of all and by that consciousness and that understanding, and that the ego can transform into awareness and consciousness of what is good for for all of us. Also, remember one other thing: if you feel like giving up, take a vacation. Give yourself a break. Have a good cry. But don't forget that you are part of a whole which continues to fight. That only your ego tells you that you have to do this all by yourself. Let yourself feel who else is out there, what other forces are out there, forces of evolution, forces of understanding. And then you'll know and realize that if anyone is still fighting for wholeness and fighting for the true self, you are fighting too, because you are part of that. We are in this together. Helen said, thanks, Beth. And I say, thank you, Helen. Tonight, before I came on, I felt like giving up myself. I am very, very sick and I'm very tired. And I was just saying, I give up. I give up. I want to give up. But the fact is, I can't give up. I ain't gonna give up. I just need to feel you, feel your support. Know that you're with me and that I am with you. Helen said, only the ego indeed. Thank you for the reminder. We are one. And evolution is about coming together with that realization. Elizabeth said, I'm so glad you're not giving up. Amy says, I'm with you. We are with us. Please like this show. Please share it with anybody that you know who might be interested. Tracy said, I'm glad you're not giving up. I'm fighting along with you. I really appreciate that. I really do. You know, sometimes my body is just, it says, you got to be kidding. But the spirit is connected to yours, and my soul is connected to yours, and you feed me, and I hope that I continue to feed you every time. So, sweet baby James and I love you, and we'll see you again on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time or anytime thereafter. And don't forget Dreams of Peace, where we go into another dimension when I play the piano on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Jamie said, thank you for sharing yourself with us. I just found your page and you are so insightful and inspiring. Love you, Beth. You see, I had to come on tonight, right? Otherwise, I would have missed Jamie. And Donna said, never give up. The Lord is with you, and so are we. Thank you. Thank you. Love you all, really. Bye-bye.
God bless you.